All right, today we're going to be talking about what's inside the backpack of a content creator and a gigging musician. Starting off with the backpack, we've got the Nomadic and Peter McKinnon collaboration 25-liter camera backpack. After a ton of research, this seemed to be the best option for what my needs are. I need this to be an everyday backpack, something that I take to work, something that I can work on and just lug around with me. But also if I do have to hit the road and kind of travel more, this can keep up with it. And so it just seemed like the perfect bag for me. All right, we've kind of got a lot going on the outside, but we'll go ahead and start with the left side with the water bottle. I live in the desert and I gig a lot and I also sweat a lot. And so it requires me to be hydrated. And so I try to keep this hydro flask on me. This is just a 40-ounce gray hydro flask. I put a couple dents in it, a couple beauty scars in it, as well as a bunch of stickers on it that are fading because of the sun. But I try to carry this around with me everywhere I go, try to stay hydrated, and it hasn't let me down since, and it keeps my water cold. Now on the right side of the backpack, I've got a couple of tripods. This varies depending on how complex the gig is or how light I need to travel, but usually I'm carrying this Ulanzi tripod. It's just like a Joby bendy tripod ripoff, but it works phenomenally and I've had zero issues with it. And I put it in some kind of difficult places. It's got a little swivel head on it and it allows you to tighten on with the set screw without having to do the whole weird tripod twist. The second tripod that I've got is just a simple phone stand. I don't know the brand of this, but I picked it up on Amazon for like 20 bucks, but I've used this more times than I can count. But it compresses nice and small, but it also expands pretty tall. So it serves multiple purposes in a small form factor. And so it is the perfect fit for me. There's sometimes when I'm running around and I don't have enough time to pull out my camera and set everything up if I don't already have it set up. And so it's so much easier for me to just pull my phone out, throw it on the tripod and get the shot rather than try to set a whole camera rig up. Up on top here, I've got a case for my headphones. Inside, these are the Audio-Technica AT-HM50Xs, I believe. But they are an awesome set of headphones. They have a super flat response, so if you're doing any sort of mixing on the go or need to rely on some headphones, these are the ones that I like to use. And I've got the cable up here. Generally, I like to use Bluetooth headphones whenever I'm traveling just because I don't want a cable kind of dangling around or getting caught on things. But Pro Tools is not keen to using Bluetooth devices. And so these come in handy and they're comfortable and they sound great. So I like to keep them on me. All right, opening up this compartment on the backpack, we have my laptop. Now, the laptop that I'm sporting is the 2023 MacBook Pro. I believe it has the M2 chip in here, but this thing is a workhorse. I've got it nice and decorated with a bunch of stickers. Now, I take this thing with me almost everywhere that I go, whether I'm editing on the run or I need to export some files or just answer emails. This thing does great for it. The only kind of hindrance I've ever had with this laptop is whenever you're running Pro Tools sessions and have a lot of CPU intensive plugins going on. Sometimes it does suffer, but there are workarounds to it. Usually I'll just freeze a track or disable plugins or if something's using a lot of MIDI intensive instruments, then I will just bounce those down and kind of use it that way. But this thing is a beast and I love it. It wasn't cheap, but it's definitely an investment. All right, let's move on to the large compartment in this backpack. Once again, this is the Nomadic and Peter McKinnon collaboration 25-liter backpack. And the reason why I chose this backpack over others was because of this divider system and also just the great reviews. And I like Peter McKinnon. And so you've got these individual cuticles in which you can add into your backpack and add individual dividers and whatever adjustments you might need to do in order to make your system work, you can. Now we've got some empty spaces right here. Usually I have my camera as well as my microphone for my camera in here, but I don't have a B camera, so I'm using this. So it's not here presently. So just pretend that it's in here. I'll probably throw a picture over the video. That way you can kind of see what it looks like all together. but this is kind of my setup here. We'll start with the camera cubicle. I'm using a Lumix G7. It's a mirrorless micro four thirds. It's not a very expensive camera, but I think it punches way above its weight class. And so I usually put that guy in here. I've got the stock kit lens that comes with it. This is a 14 to a 42 mil. I don't know the f-stop on it, but this is a super versatile kit lens. If I need to get wide shots, I can. If I need to get some more intimate, closer shots, I have the ability to do so. Whenever doing like run and gun stuff, this is usually what I'll resort to. Provides a little bit smoother of an image, a little bit more stabilized, and it captures a wide shot. In this pocket here, I've got usually my prime lenses made by a manufacturer called Meike. I believe they're Meike or Meike or something like that. They're inexpensive lenses that you can just buy off of Amazon that have great reviews. So I was kind of in the neighborhood trying to shop for some, and I thought I would give them a try, and I have not regretted my purchase. This guy is the 25 mil f1.8 stop lens. It has a wonderful bokeh to it, and it does wonderful in low light. And then on this lens that I've got on right now is the 35 mil 1.4 stop. Usually I'm playing concerts or low light stuff, so these work phenomenally for that. In here, I've got my in-ear monitors. If you're a musician and you are playing a lot, you should definitely invest in some in-ear monitors or an in-ear monitor rig. I'll probably make a video about it later, but these are my headphones. And then here is my transmitter and my receiver. These are the X-Vive U4 in-ear monitoring system. The signal that it produces is just mono. Sure, it's nice to be listening to things in stereo, but this does just fine, especially if you have a solid mix like we do. I have no problem using these, and they have not let me down. They're a cheaper alternative, and I love using them. Moving on to this pouch here, this is a little bit more of my utility pouch. I've got some console tape in case I need to mark something up while I'm on stage. I need to label something. I really try not to use it as just like gaff tape, but in a pinch it will. This stuff's just a little pricey, and so you try not to use it for that. But in a pinch, it's always nice to have some tape on you. In this box here, I have got all of my storage. I've got all of my SD cards here, as well as my hard drive here. I try not to carry a ton of things on my laptop just so I can free up storage. So whenever I get done with a project, I will just offload it onto here. I try not to delete any of my videos or any of my footage or anything like that in case I need to reference it later, but I don't want it sitting on my laptop taking up unnecessary space. So I'll offload it onto here. This is just a single 1 terabyte hard drive. That's a Pink Floyd reference. Nothing too crazy, just a hard drive, just storage, but it is important. All right, up towards the top here, I've got a couple things that I use not very often, but when I need them, and they come in handy. Right here, I've just got a regular flashlight. If you're on a dark stage, you don't want to be tripping over anything, this comes in handy a lot. If you're doing a lot more work with your hands, I have this little headlamp, and it's got a couple different settings on it, and it works just great. This might come as a little bit of a surprise, but super glue. I can't tell you how many times this bottle of super glue has saved my bacon, whether it be something breaking or just a quick repair I need to make. If you're a gigging musician, if you're just someone who works with your hands in general, I think it's a good idea to have super glue. It's kind of a no-brainer to keep on you. In this box here, I've got my handy dandy mobile recorder. This is a Zoom H4n. It has 4 inputs, 2 with the microphones on top and 2 at the bottom. You can either plug in XLR or just a 1/4 inch in. This is how I record my gig vlogs, or if I'm playing out in the forest like I've done before. This captures amazing stereo audio. My only kind of gripe with this device is that it is highly sensitive. And so that's why I carry this little dead cat here. This guy just slips, this is why I carry this little dead cat here. This just slips over the top of here. There's a little bit of an elastic on it, and it just prevents any sort of wind noise. If you've ever recorded something like on a beach or on a windy day, and you just hear that, that's wind noise. And so This helps avoid that, and it makes my audio sound better than just a regular camera mic. Okay, in this pocket here, I've got a roll of some Velcro ties. There's nothing worse than having loose cables, and so I like to keep a little roll of this on me. If I'm playing somewhere and the venue doesn't have nice rolled up cables, I'll just give these to them, or I'll wrap the cables with these on them for the venue. They're super inexpensive, and it's not worth dealing with the headache of a rat's nest of cables. And so I carry a little bundle of these on me, and they come in handy. All right, we're gonna move over to the top section here. This is a little bit more boring, but these I do use pretty often. On the top here, I've got stuff that's more related to my Apple devices. So I've got my MacBook charger. I've got the micro USB adapter. So I've got USB 3 connections there, SD card reader, HDMI port. Just because sometimes you need an adapter, this comes in handy. I've got earplugs. Now, this might be something that people miss. I can't tell you how many times I've used these, whether it's been on a noisy airplane, a noisy car ride, maybe I need to get some sleep and there's just a lot of sound going on around me. Or maybe you are playing the drums and didn't bring your headphones or bring some sort of ear protection, and you want to be able to hear things when you're 40. These are important to keep. One of my first instruments that I started playing was the drums, and I was a little bit more negligent of my hearing. And so I played long sessions without any sort of hearing protection, and I'd leave that session with my ears ringing. And so because of that, I've experienced some hearing loss. But as I get a little bit older, I try to take care of myself a little bit more. And so these come in handy. These are just like the squishy foam earplugs, but these are a lot better than nothing. Got an iPhone charger here, and that is it for this top section. On this bottom section, I've got stuff that's more camera related. So I've got some extra batteries for my camera. I've also got a battery charger, power brick, the USB cable for it. And I've also got a 9-volt battery with me. One of my guitars that I play with, the Taylor T5, uses 9-volt batteries, and it requires an external power. And I've gotten to shows and I've plugged in just to see that light on the very top of it getting dim. So I try to keep a 9-volt on me. It has saved my bacon a few times. All right, moving on, we will zip up the main compartment here, and we will move towards the top of this backpack. Now, I believe Peter McKinnon deemed this the loft, or just like the upper section of this bag, but this is stuff that needs to be more quickly accessible. If I'm traveling, I'll put my passport in here. I'll put my like sleeping pillow bag thing in here. I'll put headphones in here. Something that I need to access easily, I'll just throw up top here, and just with a couple zips, I can get to it pretty easy. Now, towards the top of it here, it's got this little pouch. First and foremost, I've got Dove spray deodorant. Like I've mentioned, I live in the desert, I live in Arizona, and I play a lot of warm venues, or we're playing outside, or we're setting up and it's hot. The last thing you want is for you to be the stinky guy whenever setting up. And so this just helps kind of tame some of that, helps keep you a little bit fresh. It's not something that I usually depend on, but it's always nice to have. We've got a bottle of ibuprofen in here. I don't take Tylenol. Tylenol doesn't work for me, but ibuprofen does. It's always important to have some sort of pain relief on you. And these are super inexpensive. They're like $1 or $2 at Walmart. So I like to keep some on me. This guy's actually running low. I think I've only got 2 left in here, so I gotta get some more. All right, I've also got a bottle of Jergens lotion. Once again, I live in the desert. It's warm here. Things get dry, and so I try to keep my knuckles from cracking. I try to keep the ashiness down, and so I keep a bottle of Jergens on me, some lotion on me. Okay, we've also got a multi-tool. Now, obviously, if I'm traveling on planes, I will not take this with me, but a multi-tool has saved my life a couple of times, and so I like to keep one on me. This is just a simple Gerber. I think I was gifted this by my brother. I might have stolen it from my brother. But this guy has got some pliers on it. It's got some knives. It's got bottle openers. It's got Phillips and flatheads. Drum hardware gets stuck and need to loosen something. Sometimes things that are in rack gear needs to be replaced and you need to remove those screws with a Phillips bit. This comes in handy. This is invaluable. I recommend any person keep some form of a multi-tool on them. Got one in my truck. My wife has one in her vehicle. I try to keep one on me. invaluable. It'll save your life. Okay, last but not least, I've got 2 Sharpies. If I got to write down a set list or I have to mark something saying that it's mine, or I often write notes on my hand just so I don't forget things. I keep a black one and an orange one just for different colors. I've got some Burt's Bees I almost said lipstick. I have some Burt's Bees chapstick just to make sure that my lips are not getting cracked. That's everything for that top pocket. The last thing that I have in this backpack is snuck into one of these side pockets here, and that is a Apple AirTag. I've lost a lot of gear in the past. I've lost expensive cameras in the past, as my parents will tell you if you talk to them. And I don't want to make that mistake again. So it's worth buying an AirTag. They're a little bit pricey, but I think we got like a 4-pack for 90 bucks for Christmas. And I use them all the time. I keep one on my keychain. I keep one in my backpack, keep one in my luggage. My wife uses them all the time. And it'll give you a little reminder. If you leave something behind, it'll give me a notification on my phone. And I can run back and get it before it's too late. So these come in handy. And in case someone wants to try to steal my backpack, this is tucked into a small compartment that's not noticeable. And so I would be able to track it down and get back my backpack. And that is all I have for you guys. This is what's in my backpack. This changes a little bit. But why don't you tell me what you guys have in your bag? Whether you're a musician, I've got some friends that are photographers. I just know some people that just do everyday casual work. If there's something that you saw in here that you liked, let me know. If there's a suggestion that you got, definitely let me know. I'm always looking to make things more efficient and a little bit easier on me. Once again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you found something useful in this video and have a great day. Thanks.